evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Mitchell Ringos. It's official. Bonnie Crombie has been declared the new leader of the Ontario Liberal Party. The Mississauga mayor and former Liberal MP won after 3 rounds of ballots, defeating Nate Erskine-Smith, Yazir Nakvi, and Ted Shue with 53.4% of the vote. More than 100,000 party members were eligible to cast ballots last weekend, and during today's count, the Liberal Party announced that over 22,000 participated, which is nearly double from the 2020 race. Crombie has boasted that she is Premier Doug Ford's toughest competition and said in her winning speech that there is no question being an Ontario Liberal is back. An annual holiday tradition made its stop in Thunder Bay last night. The Canadian Pacific Holiday Train came into town, bringing the holiday spirit and raising awareness for local food banks. The event was free to attend, with everyone encouraged to open their cupboards and wallets to help the hunger needs in the community. Local food banks were also accepting donations to ensure that those who may not have food for the holidays get enough to sustain them. The train itself came decked out with its hundreds of thousands of LED lights along its 14 rail cars. Spectators also got to see some live performances from the boxcars.
The CP Holiday Train team do a fantastic job going across Canada, and we always look forward to it. You know, you got world-class music, you got incredible decorations on the train. People are so excited to see that train coming, and for us, there is a monetary donation that CP is always generous with, but then it's also the food that comes in. We get a couple of tons of food every year.
The train continues on its way west, with the next stop in Ignace today. Speaking of Christmas lights, people will be decorating inside and outside their homes as the holidays approach. It's the time of year when the number of electrical fires increases, and experts are offering some tips on preventing them. Corey Nordstrom has more.
'Tis the season, with bright lights being a big part of Christmas decorations. While festive and fun, they can also present many dangers, according to the Sault Ste. Marie Fire Services. They say people should keep a few things in mind.
Artificial trees, if they come pre-lit, make sure that you are checking the lights on them, the light strands when you plug them in, testing them. Make sure that everything is UL and ULC certified, so CSA use in Canada. You can't go to the States and buy things in the States and then use it in Canada if it's not certified for use in Canada.
A survey by the Electrical Safety Authority shows that about half of Ontarians plan on decorating for the holidays, but almost 2/3 of respondents admit to not checking for certification when they last purchased electrical decor. The ESA also offers some tips. They include buying decor with recognized Canadian certifications, making sure decorations are used in the proper locations with cords out of dangerous areas like walkways, and to turn off holiday lights when you're away.
If they say you can only have 18 strands of lights plugged in, do not plug in more than that because it could overheat. If you're using power bars or anything like that, make sure you're not overloading them. Follow the recommendations on those as well. And just make sure that you're not putting combustibles too close to these lights.
Another danger, now that the cold weather is here, is the use of fireplaces and chimney fires.
Just because when you put it away or you stopped using it in April of last year doesn't mean that it's okay to use now. You get birds and leaves and different things build up. With fireplaces and chimneys specifically, you get creosote buildup.
Gravel recommends that fireplaces get serviced and checked by a licensed contractor annually. Once clean, he says people should burn clean, dry wood and monitor their chimney from the outside to make sure everything is functioning properly. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
Lakehead University men's soccer and the Thunder Bay Chill teamed up with the Student Union Food Resource Center for the inaugural Holiday Classic. While the event was free for all to come out and watch, they were asked to bring a non-perishable food item to donate. Josh Morano reports.
Inside the Lakehead University hangar, the men's soccer club faced off against the U17 Thunder Bay Chill in the inaugural Holiday Classic. The purpose of the event? To help tackle student hunger at Lakehead University. Those who wished to attend could for free, but they were asked to bring along some canned goods and other non-perishables.
We hope to turn this into a big thing. The idea is this is the first time we're doing it, and it could be an annual thing that we collaborate with Thunder Bay Chill. And we're looking at maybe working with the Confederation College down the line as well. But yeah, we're hoping to have this turn into a bigger thing.
Throughout the game, the table gradually got heavier with more items added to it as more fans gathered in. Lakehead University Student Union contributes roughly $90,000 into the food bank, and any students facing problems have access to it.
We know food insecurity is a huge issue right now, and so we thought it would be a good way to give back to the student food bank on campus here. And so we just thought we'll get together and get people to bring out the canned goods and enjoy soccer and kick the hunger.
But there's always that support that LUSU has for the students and for that sort of community within our city. So I know that there's a program that allows them to go and get food and things of that nature if they need as well. And that's something that LUSU provides for them throughout the entire school year.
Josh Morano, TBT News.
Kiiwetinoong MPP Saul Mamakwa pressed the Ford government at Queen's Park recently, saying there's a lack of transparency in decision-making from the government in regards to Métis recognition. Mamakwa asked Minister Greg Rickford when he will finally sit down and talk with the Chiefs of Ontario about the issue. Rickford responded, saying they meet every 3 months, but he agreed that the new legislation from the federal government is problematic for Métis and First Nation communities.
Speaker, can this government speak on how Ontario concluded that there is a distinct Métis community in the Abitibi Inland on First Nations territory?
The member and I can agree on is the fact that the federal government has introduced legislation that is problematic as between Métis communities and First Nations communities across this country, and that furthermore, it lacked the kinds of consultations with provincial, territorial governments, First Nations governments, and quite possibly Métis governments, Mr. Speaker. We don't have a record of those consultations. We just know that we weren't addressed with regards to it. That said, Mr. Speaker, it is not our style of this Premier or our government, Mr. Speaker, to be divisive. We understand the balance that we have to strike between the Métis communities and the First Nations communities, and we encourage the leadership of the Métis Nation of Ontario and the Chiefs of Ontario to get in the room together, Mr. Speaker, to have a discussion, look for solutions and opportunities in this important debate.
The District of Rainy River Services Board is hoping to raise awareness about homelessness in the region. They hosted an open house on November 22nd, National Housing Day, inviting the community in to see the warming center and learn more. Lee Noonan has what was there.
The Out of the Cold Warming Center in Fort Frances opened for the season on November 9th. It provides a place to sleep and stay warm overnight with kitchen, shower, and laundry facilities. Last year, 45 individuals visited the warming center a total of 810 times. The open house was a first chance for the whole community to see the space.
We had an amazing turnout, and people that didn't really even expect to come. Like, we had seniors come that were like, tell me about this. We've heard it. We were wondering. We live down the street. And I'm like, you care, and you came. And it made me feel happy. My heart was happy that people actually care.
How many people in the district are without shelter on any given night can vary significantly, but there are 56 people who've opted to put their names on the DSAB's by name list at various points in time since it was first implemented about a year ago. The voluntary list is meant to be more humanizing and provide more accurate data than traditional point-in-time homelessness counts.
So it can be used for stats and like things that people need to say, we need money for this. But on the other hand, on a personal level, what it does is brings other service people together and they can service plan for the one person. So, okay, so who knows Tom? Have you seen Tom? You have a good relationship with Tom. Okay, so next time you see him, can you start the housing application with Tom?
Witherspoon Bedard says that with the region's long, cold winters, the warming center is one of the most important services they provide. Last winter, the center was open 165 nights, nearly half the year. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The Friends of Chippewa Park are calling for major repairs on City Road. The group says it's in deplorable condition and causes issues for locals and tourists who visit the park. Their complaint is coming to Thunder Bay City Council on Monday. The group's asking for a 2-kilometer section of City Road to be repaired from the turnoff to the park near the Old Mill to the park itself. The Friends of Chippewa will present a petition with 1,400 signatures of people who support the organization's call. Secretary Ian Angus says the repairs are vital, considering Chippewa Park's importance to the community.
It's got a great view of the Sleeping Giant. You've got the tourist camp, you've got the amusement park, you've got the big fields, the trails. It's a great facility and it is well used. I mean, some members on council think it isn't, but we've had events there that we ran that had upwards of 2,000, 2,500 people. And they love it out there, and they're using it more and more.
Angus can't say how much the repairs will cost. He's excited for the Friends of Chippewa Park to speak to City Council, as this will be the group's first deputation since last year's municipal election. Local author Stephanie Vincent was at the Loop this afternoon to promote her very first book she wrote, illustrated and released, The Tall Moose Saves Christmas, a heartwarming adventure that follows a towering moose who helps Santa. The story was inspired by Vincent's 2 children, who offered the idea of a very tall moose. She then decided to bring the story to life with her own illustrations, since she always enjoyed making art and being creative. Vincent never envisioned herself as an author, but said every time she's read a book to her kids, she's come across books that didn't have great storylines. She joked with her husband that she could write something better and ended up finding a hidden passion.
It's super exciting, and it's been like really delightful that my kids like enjoy it so much and make me read it like 3 times before bed, which is really cute. And my friends' kids have also really liked it and sent me pictures, and it's just very exciting.
If you would like to purchase The Tall Moose Saves Christmas, copies of the book can be found at the Loop, Kiki Collective, Evergreen Pharmacy, and online at Amazon.ca. We're now joined